the problem that you get at is if you go with the cheapest price, and it is possible to find rates that you'll be blown away by.
Hmm.
Um, the cheapest price might not be the best experience for the actual consumer when they actually have the experience, right? So they show up to the hotel and they go, "Oh, you know, yeah, you got the room with no windows that actually doubles as a closet for us, right? And it doesn't have a bathroom. You got to walk down the hall and you're like, wait a minute, like this is my vacation."
Welcome to Travel Buddy, presented by Switchfly. In this podcast, we talk about all things travel, rewards, and loyalty. Let's get to it. Hello, Noel, and welcome back to the Travel Buddy podcast. Today, we are going to talk about loyalty programs from the loyalty vendor perspective, and we're going to compare, contrast the single source solutions and aggregator solutions and what some limitations may be of the first. And I want to get into what's going on in that market and what you're thinking about that. But also, you mentioned price sensitive consumers, but I want you to talk about that price is not the only thing when you're considering a travel and loyalty vendor. And then I also want to touch briefly on AI and ML and some of the cool things that you guys are working on and why aggregator solutions are great for that kind of feature.
Sure.
So I'll let you take it away. So tell us a little bit about travel loyalty programs, like real brief description, and then tell me about the single source aggregator
Sure.
contrast.
Yeah, I think we get calls all the time from people who are loyalty program providers, right? So they're currently selling gift cards to consumers. They have brands. I mean, these could be food chains, right, that have points programs. It could be HR tech rewards and recognition programs. It could be your traditional earn and burn, even financial services companies. There's a lot of startups that are credit card companies, right, that are also offering rewards programs that are starting to look at travel as an interesting fit. Um, and I think the interesting thing is that what we're seeing in the market is a lot of people, one, they think, oh, well, let's just add travel. And that's super simple to do. And I don't think they really understand what they're signing up for, right? Because a lot of people start with they start from a tech focused and kind of we come to this from the tech and how does the tech fit and is it hotels or is it air, is it car, is it activities, is it cruise? And I think the interesting thing about it is that you also have to think about the value to the consumer. That seems to be missing from the equation a lot. And then what also seems to be missing from the requests and RFPs and things that you see is a real focus on the customer service experience, right? And because we had a loyalty program that has an existing travel thing now. And jokingly, yesterday we were reading the Google reviews about them, and it was crazy. All the complaints, all the B2B complaints, all these other things. You're like, wow, like people really have to be smart about who they're doing with because it does impact their brand, right? And I'm not sure that when they're like, maybe it's some program manager or whatever is like, well, let's just add travel feature function. It's like you also have to formulate this is your customer and your brand experience that goes along with this. So when you're looking for a partner, you better pay attention to how they talk about service levels, response times, people being available on the phone, all those other things. Make sense?
If you're gonna do it well, because
Correct. For
you're
sure.
gonna get feedback. Yeah,
For
yeah.
sure. And we see um, people, there's lots of inventory sources, right? And there's lots of ways to do this. And there are brands that race to the bottom, right?
Mm.
And what you see out of that is people who think they had a booking, right? They think they had a reservation at a hotel, and then they get there and it's not there, right?
Mm.
Things like that happening when sometimes the choices of kind of these, I'll call it tertiary providers that are way downstream in the market, right? Of do they really, price is just one element of how to do this the right way, right?
Mm. Mm.
And it
So
seems like people are really focused on price. So
okay, yeah. Before we get there, tell me a little bit about that. If I'm understanding basically the two segments of this market, you mentioned like there's a single source,
sure.
way to go, and then there's the aggregation way to go. Like, tell me about those two a little bit.
Well, so if you're a loyalty brand and you just are offering loyalty in the United States, maybe a single source supplier for, let's say, hotel inventory is the way to go, right?
Mm,
But if you're offering a global brand, right, not all inventory suppliers can handle the globe, right? And so one of the things that Switchfly does, quite frankly, is we do a really good job at aggregating the best inventory across the planet, right?
mm,
And a lot of single source suppliers might be really good with a really good inventory in, say, Europe, right? Or they have a really good inventory in North America. But if your um, users, right, if a loyalty program's users are like, we want to book a trip into France or to Germany or whatever, you have to make sure that you have the right mix of things, if that makes sense, so that there is good inventory, right? What you don't want is we just we just signed up with this supplier and they service the United States, but we can't find any inventory in Japan, right? Or we can't rent cars outside of the United States, right? And we see a lot of that where there's people trying to develop these new hotel inventory specifically and channels of that, but they're not necessarily on a global scale yet.
mm. And that
Right.
gets back to the customer experience that you're actually, because if somebody's going into and wanting to travel somewhere and there's not
Correct.
a particular place that's where they want to go, but there's no
That's
inventory
right.
for that, that could
That's
be a
right.
big problem. Yeah.
That's right. And that's what you see is people, depending on where they're traveling and where your customers are, right? So if you're a
Mm,
loyalty program and all of your customers are in Mexico, right? You know, are they all traveling within Mexico or where are they actually where are the
mm.
destinations that your consumers might want to go to, right? So,
So when you're thinking about these things, obviously price is the first thing everybody's going to ask, whether it's price per point or per hotel or travel,
yeah.
mile traveled, I don't know. But there's a lot more to consider in that, not just inventory. There's a lot of other things going on. So tell me
Yeah.
a little bit
I
about
mean,
that.
I think I get this question once a week, right? Which is like,
Mm,
show me your rates compared to these other guys, right?
yeah, yeah, yeah.
And what it really is, I'm looking over here at, brand name retail. Are your rates really better, right? And you have to understand like there's a massive ecosystem of hotel inventory and rates, right? Across all kinds of suppliers and different things. And different ones get cut, basically different brands do deals with different inventory suppliers. The price is a piece of it, right? Especially if you have a loyalty brand that you're trying to maintain. Consumers shop for leisure travel specifically, not commercial work travel. And there's two main drivers. One is the price, and one is points, right?
Mm,
Um, Consumers will be loyal to their points. You see that with the financial services companies. You see that with, um, if you have the Voyager card, you have the American Express card, right? You use those points predominantly for travel and a lot of those cards. Um, and so people are very loyal to that. The, you know, the other way is if you don't have points, people are just shopping on price, and it
mm,
becomes that discount price, discount price, discount price. The problem that you get at is if you go with the cheapest price, and it is possible to find rates that you'll be blown away by.
mm,
Um, the cheapest price might not be the best experience for the actual consumer when they actually have the experience, right? So they show up to the hotel and they go, "Oh, you know, yeah, you got the room with no windows that actually doubles as a closet for us, right? And it doesn't have a bathroom. You got to walk down the hall and you're like, wait a minute, like this is my vacation." And so there are a lot of instances of people, and we see it where they've selected another vendor. I have an opportunity right now. They're on their third vendor, or they're looking for their third vendor. They
wow.
started with vendor one, didn't really work out. Now they're on vendor two. They're not very happy, and now they're finally looking to a platform like Switchfly because I think they started to do single threaded solutions, so they can do hotels first, and then they'll try to do these other things. Um, and price is just a piece of it, right? And I think when you think about the consumer experience, the other piece that no one pays attention to, and they really should, I mean, not that they don't pay attention to it, but it's not the driver, is the conversation about service, right? And that is, it's, if you're a brand, right? So, we Switchfly power and work with American Express on a regular basis. They are a marquee brand. They're a great customer. They pay attention to their customers. Like that is, if you're calling in, you're having, a great service experience because it is American Express, right? And they're known for that, and it's awesome. There are other solutions out there when you're not in that experience where it's not as good, right?
Mhm.
Or, people are not confirming their bookings, they're delayed, the booking's actually not going through. And there's all these things in the background that no one understands about, even though you go into a site and you hit click and it, you get a booking confirmation, there's this whole process behind the scenes of where that goes to actually get to the hotel, right?
Yep.
And what people don't know about is when something happens, like you want to change something, the number of conversation and connects that have
Mhm.
to happen to make that actually happen for you.
Mm.
And when that chain of events breaks down because the guy in the middle doesn't believe in quality or doesn't believe in good customer service, you have a huge massive problem because the consumer is going to get frustrated, right? The hotel is going to get frustrated as an example, and you have a disconnect in the middle. So,
I can 100% verify what you just said. Because
yeah.
back in April, so I'm a American Express Platinum card holder. So back
Yeah.
in April, wanted to go to London. We booked tickets and got two hotels. They're
Mm,
luxury hotels, but because of this was even a price thing. I mean, because I was shopping on a bunch of different
yeah.
platforms and looking at price and all that, but it was just a component. Because when I was on American Express Travel, their portal, it pulled up all these benefits that came with
Hmm.
shopping on that
For sure.
portal, and then it also had that customer
For sure.
experience component. I got like $200 off breakfast, because it
Yeah.
was part of this collection, all that kind
Yeah.
of stuff.
Yeah.
Then I went to the American Express Lounge, which was
Hmm.
wonderful.
Yeah.
It was just a great experience. So yeah, I can totally testify. It's a huge, huge component when you're traveling.
Yeah. And it's, what we see is in other um, loyalty programs, right? Have they thought it all the way through, right? So
Mhm.
they may be just looking for the tech platform, and someone said, we've got to get the best price, but you really got to think through the rest of the food chain, right? To
Yep.
really understand what you're getting. Do you have the inventory on a global scale that you need? Maybe you don't need that, but those things. Do you have, is the site in the currency that of your consumers, right? So a lot of people, oh, it's all in dollars. Well, that is good until you're trying to service Australia, and then
Mm.
it's in Australian dollars or it's in, Mexican peso. Like there's simple things like that that you see people getting, kind of in trouble with because consumers will get really frustrated with why is everything in US dollars, right? In the
Mhm.
presentation of it. Why can't it be in my natural currency? And then what happens is they buy something, they see the conversion on their credit card, and then they're calling in
Mm.
to basically they didn't understand the price, they didn't understand this, they didn't understand. But simple things like that create drama for the customer where there doesn't need to be any drama. Right.
Yeah. Yeah. 100%. 100%.
Yeah.
So something that this is a maybe a little tack on to this conversation, but really
Yeah.
briefly, what I'm understanding is if you have this large kind of aggregator network, this large
Mhm.
inventory, you can also do a lot more sophisticated things like bringing in AI or ML into
Sure.
the process and
Yeah.
creating some kind of personalization, localization, like even
Correct.
to your point, like maybe doing the currency conversion, things like that. So, is there things like that that you get an advantage of basically having a lot larger inventory, a lot bigger network
For
like
sure.
AI?
For sure. I mean, AI is all about data, right? And training
Hmm.
data models and doing things that you need to do. We, we have AI that monitors for prices, right? For consumers automatically, right? The benefit of having um, different channels for getting access to different inventories is you can see when things are moving up and down for the consumer, right? Automatically. People don't even know that this is happening. Um, the benefit is this gets applied automatically for the consumer across a diverse inventory, right? Across room types, regions, locations. If you don't think that the main OTAs, they also do this, right? And so if you're sticking with single-threaded supplier, you only get what they're doing, right? But I will tell you, because I've seen it, you can take the same room, right? A king size, one bed with a swimming pool out the back, kind of room, and you can look across different suppliers and go, wow, that one is $250 a night less,
Mm.
right? And it's just because of the way the deals work, right? And so being able to offer that to your consumers as a loyalty program, as it's not cheaper necessarily, it's just a better, it's a better value for your customer, is also super critical. And AI and ML applied over that kind of thing makes a lot of sense. So,
Yeah, I don't know if you would agree with this, but it sounds like having that kind of, yeah, sophisticated platform, you're actually kind of uniting the price to experience trade-off
correct,
maybe sometimes. You
correct.
actually are getting better value, but you're actually providing a better experience by doing so,
Yeah, yeah. I
which
mean,
can be really cool.
we automatically we have I came up with the phrase where we have a hotel content delivery network, right? So hotels are just in themselves are very complicated, right? With the descriptors and the images and the star ratings and things like that. You know, in our system, like we automatically scrub out like one-star properties and potentially two-star properties. And so you're only getting certain things. Like we do have customers that it's only 4 and 5 star properties that you're
Mm.
seeing, right? And the interesting thing becomes, well, if you're aggregating across different things, and each one is the hotels rating themselves about I'm a 4 star or I'm a 5 star.
Mm-hmm.
The consumer doesn't necessarily trust that. What you need is an independent star rating system. Well, guess what? Our hotel content delivery network, right? We actually built into that. We access some of the best rating systems automatically to basically make sure that when you're looking at a 3 star, a 4 star, a 5 star, you are getting a 5 star hotel, right?
Amazing.
Yeah,
Amazing.
it's good.
Noel, thank you. What I love about talking to you is I feel like I'm on the cutting edge of like the travel loyalty rewards market. I mean, not only like what you guys are doing on like you said the hotel network, but also the technology that's all involved with
Sure.
that, and even the delivery. Talking about Go and the pro offerings that you guys have.
Yep.
So anyway, super cool. Thank you, Noel. I know this is kind of a quick hit conversation,
It's
but
great.
I'm so grateful for your time and excited for next episode.
All right. Thanks. Have a good day.
All right, you too. See
Yeah,
you.
bye.